Hi everybody, it's Tatiana, and today I am coming with another video in regards to prepping for the hashtag Blackout 2018 that is being spearheaded by Denise over at Art Books Live, and I am getting my thoughts together. Today I have 10 books that I already own and have already read that are 4 or 5-star reads for me to add to the list of suggestions for books to read for Blackout 2018. Now, the list of suggestions that I'm adding to is not my list of suggestions. Kay over at K is Too Cute. Now, mind you, the books that I've mentioned in the other 2 videos, they are suggestions if you want to do so, but those are the books that I am looking to read. These are books that I'm going to give you that I've already read. But Kay over at K is Too Cute has been doing what she calls her Featured 5, a series of videos that she's been doing for, I want to say, a couple of months now. And they're all books by African American authors that would all be eligible for the Blackout for 2018. So I'm going to link her channel below if you would like to check out her videos. And I love listening to Kay talk because I love her voice, and I love how chill and cool, calm, and collected she is, which is so not me. But we also have a lot of the same books, like some of the books that she suggests and talks about on her Featured 5, I either own and have read or are on my list to read, my ever-growing list that I would like to read. So by all means, check out her videos. I also have books that I am going to try and not mention. I did not pull some books off of my shelf on purpose because I have talked about them time and time again on this channel. So what I am going to do, if you're interested in seeing what those books are, I have created a playlist for hashtag Blackout 2018, which would include reviews for those books, and that's in the description box below if you want to check those out. With these books, I am going to give a brief description, so this video may be 2 parts, but maybe not, because I do long videos. Anyway, just watch it, Alan. Okay, here we go. The first book I am going to talk about is Shades of Jade by Gloria Millette. This is the first novel that I read by Gloria Millette. I want to say 5 of her novels total. There is a Honeycrisp apple sticker on this book. What was I eating when I read this book? A Honeycrisp apple. The synopsis is, a beautiful woman with a successful career and an active social life, Marissa Jenkins has it all. Yet Marissa's friends disapprove of her relationship. She insists on dating only married men, sometimes more than one at a time. Right now, she's seeing Terrence, Lewis, Wayne, and Eric. Marissa resists all attempts to meet eligible single men, even though sparks fly between her and Levi, a contractor whose career choice is beneath her standards. Then Marissa's carefully managed life spins out of control. After receiving threatening phone calls from a mysterious woman, Marissa fears for her life. Surprisingly, Levi offers his assistance, and together they attempt to identify the stalker. Shaken, Marissa begins to see herself in a new light. But will she survive long enough to find Mr. Right? This book, I went into this book expecting one thing, and I got something else. And this started an obsession with Gloria Millette. That's all that I'm going to say. When I read this would have been a 5-star novel. Now, I will probably, after reading some of her other works, I will probably give it 4 stars. But it's still up there. So, suggestion number 1. The next book that I have in this stack, I'm not actually suggesting this book. I'm suggesting the first book in this, what I believe is a trilogy, but was initially a duology, but the second book is not as good as the first book. And the first book is called Anyone Who Has a Heart. This one is Someone to Catch My Drift by Jacqueline Powell. And anyone who has a heart, and I'm going to hold this up because the covers are very similar, but anyone who has a heart was so good and so engaging and gripping as far as the story went and the tragedy that takes place in the story. And it's all about the main female character in that story getting through the tragedies that she has to deal with, coming to terms with this new unexpected life that she never thought she was going to be able to live, and then experiencing some hardships that go along with that. And I flew through that novel, and in flying through it and enjoying it so much, I expected to get the exact same kind of feels from Someone to Catch My Drift, and I didn't. But the first book, definitely 4 stars. And the first book, again, is Anyone Who Has a Heart. And every time that I talk about it, I hear in my head, oh my gosh, Whitney Houston's aunt. Why do I space on names when I get on camera? Dionne Warwick. Not gonna lie, I had to look it up. Next is What You Won't Do for Love. I have a thing for books, especially romance novels, that have songs for titles. This was a book that I did not expect to like as much as I did. It would be a 4-star read for me when I read it and now, and I'm going to give you the synopsis. It's a little lengthy, but I'm going to speed through it. A failed engagement and a partnership in a new e-learning firm have led 36-year-old Cheney Braxton from New York to Washington, D.C. Orphaned as a child and now betrayed by her fiancé, Cheney's through dealing with things that die, leave, or wilt. In fact, she's got a new mantra: no plants, no pets, no men. Needless to say, the last thing she wants is a dog-sitting gig. But that doesn't stop her flaky middle sister from leaving her yellow lab Tony in Cheney's care while she runs off on her latest fling. Who knew Tony would turn out to be an unwitting matchmaker? And I'm actually going to leave it right there because there's so much that goes on in this story, not just with Cheney and her coming to terms with her own pain, but the relationship that she gets involved with that are a result, or is a result, of her having to take care of this dog that she does not want to take care of. And I think I got this the year I got Buffy. But I really, really enjoyed this, and I have been wanting to reread this and just haven't because there are so many other books on my list to read. Next is A Long Way From Home by Connie Briscoe. I have talked about this book before. The only reason why I am mentioning this is because I have not read it since joining BookTube. I haven't read it again since joining BookTube, so there is no review of it. This is a 5-star novel. When I read this, I fell in love with the characters. I love this writing style of Connie Briscoe over some of the other things that I've read that she's written, and I've read a lot of her novels, so I like her writing style overall, but by far, this is tops. Shimmering with heartache and hope, A Long Way From Home recounts the joys, pain, and ultimate triumph of 3 generations. Susie, her daughter Clara, and her granddaughter Susan. Born and reared as house slaves on Montpelier, the Virginia plantation of President James Madison and his wife Dolly Madison, they are united by love, a fierce devotion to each other and their fellow slaves, and by a growing desire for freedom, a dream that will finally come to fruition for Susan at the end of the Civil War. This hauntingly beautiful novel opens in the peaceful Piedmont area of Virginia. Trained as a house slave since childhood, Susie enjoys the privileges that her position as a maid to Miss Dolly provides her and Clara. For Susie, life holds no mystery, no promise beyond the boundaries of the plantation itself, a lesson she tries to impart to the dreamy Clara, who longs to control her own destiny despite her mother's frightening admonition, "You don't know a thing about freedom, because I don't know anything about it. It takes money and know-how to live free. You don't just up and do it." Life will change for both mother and daughter, though, with the death of James Madison and the departure of his wife for her townhouse, events that leave the estate in the hands of Dolly's profligate son, Todd. As a result of his neglectful stewardship, the plantation soon falls to a series of owners, each posing a new threat to Susie and Clara, and the other longtime Madison slaves with whom the two women had shared their entire lives. Amidst these devastating changes, Clara grows into womanhood and becomes a mother herself, giving birth to two light-skinned daughters. You know what that means. Ellen and Susan. Yet the threat of separation that has shaped her life is soon a reality when her younger daughter Susan is sold to a wealthy businessman in Richmond. Susan must create a new life for herself in this bustling city, a life that will be filled with both terror and hope, and it is in Civil War-torn Richmond that she will find love and realize the long-held dreams of her ancestors. Freedom. Now, why did I pick this up? I live in Virginia. Everywhere that's in this novel, I have stepped my feet. That's the initial reason why I picked this up. I was kind of at the point where I was getting back into reading books that were set in slavery. And I had already read a couple of other stories by Connie Briscoe, so I said, why not pick this up? And oh my gosh, it's awesome. Next is For Every Black Eye, Revenge, When Nothing Else Works by C.F. Hawthorne. Y'all, I can't even, this book is so damaged because I have loaned it out, and I want to say I left it in my car, and something spilled on it, and it is so damaged. This book is so twisted. It is, and I have said before, I am all about revenge stories. It is, there's some brutal revenge in this novel, as well as, and I want to actually read this again from the mindset that I have now, with the knowledge that I have of how the good ways, better ways, and then have happened in some novels to portray mental illness. I want to reread this to see what I think about that part of it now, but this was a 4-star read when I initially read it. It is a very brutal novel. There's a very brutal relationship. And when comeuppance happen, holy crap. It's kind of awesome and scary at the same time. Scary because, or at least for me, scary because I kind of was surprised that I never thought of that kind of payback before. And I wish I had. So that's why it was scary for me. And you know what I realized after I put this down? I did not read the synopsis. So, here we go. After taking one too many beatings and waking up from a coma, the woman Annie Marie Scott used to be finds herself a victim once again. This time to her alter ego Phoebe. Unlike Annie, Phoebe is strong, confident, and psychotic. She will seek justice by making the abusers a victim of their own terror. For Every Black Eye will arouse sympathy and compassion as Phoebe's life takes an unexpected turn when her best friend dies at the hands of her lover. Phoebe enlists the help of her best friend's brother, J.R., an ex-Marine, to aid her in carrying out her demented tactics of revenge. However, there was one tactic Phoebe didn't plan for, a man gentle enough to heal her wounded soul and tender enough to find the woman she used to be. Phoebe then realizes she is Annie Marie Scott, a woman who can love again and fear nothing from her past. Now I can go to the next book.